Alright guys, welcome to another video on Jujutsu Kaisen Phantom Print. Now today's video I'll be doing another guide on how to beat the Extreme 2 version of versus SO and Kechizu. Basically, if you haven't seen it already, on my first video guide I already meant to beat the Ex2 version with a team very similar to this, but I had Toge here instead of Incomplete Domain Megumi, and also like my SSR, my recollections are a lot more free-to-play friendly because I didn't have to use this 2 SSR recollection item. So you can definitely refer to that video if you do not have Incomplete Domain Megumi. The only problem with that solution is that it took me 7 turns to actually kill off the enemy, and it required my Toge to actually die quite early on for me to bring up my backup character, which is Kaito. So basically, the R version of Kaito, by the way, not this SR version. So basically, that solution absolutely works, and if you can use that, then please do go ahead. But like I said, because you are taking more than 6 turns to actually beat this, and also one of your character would die in the process, basically you would be losing out 50 cubes from here because one person would have died, and you would also lose out on one of the missions. Is it no here? Event missions. Basically there is another one which is basically requiring you to be Ex2 within 6 turns in order to get another 30 cube. So if you guys follow my first solution, you guys will be fine, other than the fact that you will be missing out on potentially 80 cube. So in today's video, I'll be showing you a second solution on how to beat this, but I do have to use Incomplete Domain Megumi for this to actually happen. But as you can see in my game clip later on, basically this will still allow you to beat the stage, but this time without anyone dying, and also you can actually do this on turn 6. So that actually allow you to get all of the cubes available. Now the only problem, or the only thing which is kind of missing for me to use 3-star clear, is basically I need to have 3 green characters. Unfortunately on my account I just don't have another green DPS. If you do have another green DPS, you can try swapping Yaga for green DPS and see whether you can basically get that. But honestly speaking, I'm not too bothered because the only reward you get from this third condition is just 200 medals, and I have like more than enough medals to exchange everything in the shop, so I don't really care about this. So that's basically the way it is. Okay, now in terms of strategy wise, it's very similar to my first solution, but if you have watched that, you will know basically how to use Toge in that strategy. Basically, Toge provides 2 utility. One is that he's able to stun Kechizu on the first turn, which basically allow me to only tank 1 of his special attack rather than 2. And also he's able to offer a damage decrease, which actually allow me once again to actually tank it. Now, because you do not have Toge in this team lineup anymore, so for the stun part, what you need to do is basically you need to use Momo's skill 3. This is all of my character skill level, by the way. So you can see I do have my Gojo's ultimate at level 10 and buff at level 9, and I also have Yaga's buff at level 9, and also Megumi's skill 1 at level 9. I think those are the only highly leveled up ones you need to take aware of. But like I said, so basically the strategy is instead of using Toge to stun, now you basically need to use Momo skill 3, this one, to actually stun the enemy. Now this one is not, obviously the probability is not as high as Toge, so you may actually need to retry a few times so that you are actually able to stun Kechizu. So that's something you do have to be aware of. And then the second thing that Toge is able to do is obviously that damage reduction. But now, because we don't have a character on the field to offer that damage reduction, what you should do is basically use a recollection to compensate instead. And that's kind of why I have this healing recollection, to make sure I actually heal up my whole team after they have taken that insane amount of nuke from enemy special attack. And then the other one you also really want to have is on Megumi. You want to apply this recollection, SSR recollection, with this auto skill, so basically to dupe 1 net. And basically because the enemy will be nuking you with like high amount of damage, and like I said, there's no damage reduction on your team, your Megumi is definitely going to end up with less than 50% HP, and that actually allow you to gain 1,000 ultimate gauge immediately, and that basically allow you to actually use his domain expansion on turn 3. And therefore what you can then do is then use his skill 1 to slash SO for literally 4 three turns in a row, so that by the time your Gojo actually do his ultimate attack, you are able to get the maximum amount of debuff available on the enemy. So that's basically very important for you to be able to get domain expansion as early on as possible. And then the only other recollection you would need would be this one. Now this one is obviously able to provide damage dealt increase to all allies, which is nice because you will need that for your Gojo's ultimate attack, and also you'll be actually chaining up that with Momo's ultimate attack, so for that bit extra damage. And remember, Momo is such a green character, so she can actually do quite a bit of AoE damage as well, and that's basically what's going to be needed in order to actually wipe out both of the boss together on turn 6.
勝手はしないように。面白そうだな。やるか。
最善の一手を常に考え。
可愛くと。やっちゃっていいの？邪魔よ。さて楽しくなってきた。飛び込め。
私の術式はここからです。
やるか。
相手の動きを観察。
可愛い。手加減はしてあげるよ。さて楽しくなってきた。よっ。いつでもいけるぞ。
最善の一手を常に考える。
変な感じ。やっちゃっていいの？
授業を始めよ
う。なるほど、そういうことね。もう一展開。感動を上げて。そう焦るなよ。
いかがですか？
行くぞ。
相手の動き。
可愛く手加減はしてあげるよ。
では教育の時間だ。
楽しくなってきた。
私の術式はここからですよ。
行くぞ。変な感じ。手加減はしてあげるよ。
授業を始めよう。
オッケー、読めたわ。さて楽しくなってきた。ガラケー。遊んでくれ。いけるぜ。準備できてるから。それじゃおしまいにしようか。
では教育の時間だ。
可愛いだけだと思わないことね。術式判定赤。やっぱりレベルが違う。行こっか。イエーイ。